Here I am doing a little tutoring session. I'm going to record it. I'm going over these graphing problems and how to graph word problems with my first period class and some extra people. Y'all want to say hi? Alright, good job. Okay, so they, some of them that need help, some of them have already done this, but some of them that need some assistance, they're going to be working along graphing as I'm graphing. This is a graded assignment. So here we go. Number one. Oh, and I'll go ahead and preface this whole thing. You need to have solved all the word problems before you start graphing, and I've got videos for that, so you'll refer to those videos if you haven't already done that, because I'm going to be basing what I'm saying on that. So here we go. Here's the first problem. James is a painter. He charges $110 for the paint plus $7 per hour to paint a house. How many hours does James work to earn $600 painting a house? Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an X and Y axis, and I'm going to use the grids, the lines on my graph paper, and it's going to look something like this. And I'm going to put hours down here for the x-axis, and I'm going to put how much he charges over here on the side for my y-axis. Now, the least number of hours that he can work are 0 hours. And you learned back in 6th and 7th grade that where the x and y-axis intersect, that's at the origin, 0, 0. So now the most amount of hours that you found out that he worked was 70 hours. That's the most that they had you calculate. Now, you need to go from 0 hours to 70 hours, but you get to count by whatever you want. What I've recommended to the kids is maybe 10. So I'm going to space it out a little bit. So I skip a line 10, skip a line 20, skip a line 30. Now, you have to think back to whenever you first learned how to graph. The key here is that you have to have a scale, and you have to stay consistent with that scale. So and you have to stay consistent with the spacing. So if I count by tens, I have to always count by tens on this x-axis. If I skip a line, I need to always skip a line, okay? So my spacing and the number that I'm counting by has to stay the same. So you see I've got from 0 hours all the way up to 70 hours. I'm good there. Now, on my y-axis, how much he charges, I'm going to need to have it go all the way up as high as $600. And that's in the word problem because they're wanting to know, well, when is he going to charge $600? So I can count by whatever I want. In this case, I'm going to count by hundreds. And the reason why is because if I try to count by tens, my paper's not going to be big enough. So I've got 100, 200, 300, but you get to pick. Here's 400, 500, and then 600, okay? So now I'm ready to plot, and I'm going to do it in a different color. And you're going to look back at your table that you created whenever you were analyzing this word problem. And if you remember, whenever he worked 0 hours, someone in here remind me, how much did he charge at 0 hours of work? What do you think it is, Matt? $110. That's right, because he charges $110 just for the paint. So that's not on 100. It's just barely above 100. So about right, like there. Okay, that's good enough. And then we also calculated that whenever he charges $600, he had to work 70 hours. So I know that 70 hours of work he's going to charge $600. So I'm going to plot a point right there, okay? So 70 hours, he charges $600. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect these points from there to there, and that's it. There you go. I've got my graph, and it should be a straight line because these are linear functions. Let me explain to you why we're graphing. It helps us quickly get an idea of how these variables are related. In other words, if he was going to work 30 hours, he could estimate that he's going to charge around, what is that, $350. Okay, see, 30 hours, I go up and over, and it's $350. That's where they intersect, okay? And so I could say, well, how much is he going to charge if he works 35 hours? So I go to 35 hours, and I can go up, and I can see that he's going to charge roughly around $350. Oh, I said the last one wrong because I'm counting by hundreds. So the last one would have been charging $325. This one is charging $350 because it's right there in the middle. So, but anyway, you get the idea. It's a way that you can see how these are related. That's number one.